Thank you for having us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours episode 719 or so. We haven't counted all of them, but I'm with my mentor, the amazing Blaine Bartlett. You can check him out at Blaine Bartlett, and he's making all of our possibilities into reality. Mr. Bartlett, sir, how did you enjoy speaking at the NASDAQ, the IPO Summit, and the VIP dinner for the Napoleon Hill Foundation?
I can't, there really aren't enough words that are superfluous enough to describe that experience. It was just an amazing couple of days. You know, that one day in particular, just filled to the brim.
It was.
Yeah, in the IPO room at NASDAQ. It doesn't get a whole lot better than that if you're in a business space. That's kind of a sacred space in one sense. So just real honored to have been able to be one of the keynote speakers there. And thank you for the opportunity that you set up for that.
An honor to have you. And it was really nice because I had to press upon, let's just say, the more traditional IPOers of the world, the Wall Street gang, how important the subject matter and topic that you were going to speak about. And a little bit of difference, I think, in the culmination, I asked that question, somebody's basic question was, can you actually make money and still be compassionate? And I know you and I wrote a book called Compassionate Capitalism, and I thought your answer was poignant and eloquent, but also very clear that they're one and the same. That's actually how you do make a lot of money, is through compassion. And speaking of which, I have a very compassionate individual joining us, and I'm blessed to have her as our first guest. Antoniette Roze is in the house. She's the CEO at Speakers Global, speaking of speaking. And we share so much experience together, but she's very innovative, has not sat on her celebrity or emerging celebrities, and has really learned the business to help other people and empower them in empowering others. And that's the way I see Speakers Global and the importance speakpact.com, that they have the impact that they've been having for 3 decades. Welcome, Antoniette.
Thank you, David. And I am thrilled and honored to be here with you and Blaine, 2 of my favorite people. Let's go.
Let's go. Well,
Charge.
we talk about the messy middle. And, there's so many misperceptions and mismanagement of expectations in helping people emerge and to be sought after. And there's a very crowded space today because of the content and the way it's disseminated. How do you define this messy middle, and what interference is it creating to those people that are seeking the emergent impact that they love to have?
Excellent question. I think it's all in the mindset and the messaging. I think that we compare our level 4 to somebody else's level 5, and we think that we should just already be there. I think if speakers could understand that those speakers who are out there getting the $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 engagements consistently, that didn't happen overnight. They had to treat it like a serious business instead of a fun sort of side gig. You can't just get onto some bureaus. You can't just get an agent or 2. There's a lot of elbow grease that goes into it. So if you want it, treat it seriously.
So smart.
Yeah. And the idea of treating it seriously, it's not just an ad hoc sort of a thing. You've been in this business for, and I'm being very general here, for a couple of decades, but you've had some great success, 3 of them, I know. But being able to speak, it's not, people look at the speaking component of brand development or their business development as something about visibility, but it's actually more than visibility. It's a way to hone, and this is my experience of it, Anthony, but I just want to check this out with you. It's the opportunity to hone my voice, and I don't mean my voice. I mean put things, ideas into my own voice so that it now has some authenticity, and it has to be authentic if it's actually going to resonate. And in the work that you do with moving people out of this middle, I know that there's a challenge that these speakers face, and you actually have some formula. And I say formulaic. It's not just check a box sort of thing, but it's a way you work with your speakers to actually tap into that authenticity. Can you describe that just a little bit?
You bet. First, if you don't mind, I'd love to speak to what you started off with, and what David alluded to. If you aren't empathetic, if you're not an empathetic leader, this industry is going to eat you up, and you're not going to last for very long. So it has to begin with the heart. It's not an easy industry. It's a high competitive industry. If you really want to make speaking and training a major part of your business model, or especially a major part of your revenue model. So in order to do that, now to answer your question, Blaine, when you would treat it as if you were creating a storefront. You create the foundation, you build the building, you stock it with the resources that are needed, the supplies that are needed, the staff that's needed. You make sure it's visible, and you open the doors for business. It cannot work in the opposite.
And one of the biggest misnomers is people get confused on speakers that sell tickets and speakers that are impactful. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of speakers who are impactful think that they automatically will sell tickets, and there is an economic situation to be able to facilitate getting the bigger dollars. I know as my career has grown in speaking to the six-figure level, that didn't happen overnight, and it happened because I started to realize where I stood in selling tickets versus the impact that I had, and made sure that I was addressing the communities that valued what I provided. And in fact, I had a scenario one time when they was one of two speakers, and they couldn't imagine. They kept saying, well, why are you more expensive than this famous ESPN announcer? Why are you more expensive? I said, well, are you looking to sell tickets? They said, no, we're the Boy Scouts of America. We have 7,000 Boy Scout leaders, and they buy tickets to come to the meeting. It's not a problem. I said, then what's your objective? They said, to raise money. I said, then I'll guarantee that I raise more money by $1 million than you raised last year. And I know I'm better than this individual from ESPN in doing so. So if that's what you're looking for, because I was confident and comfortable articulating my value. How do you help your speakers with the perception that they should be paid a certain amount when the economics don't make sense?
Okay, such great questions. Oh my goodness, I love these. Okay. You're never selling your hour, you're selling your outcome. So you hit it on the head, David. Yeah. They were not paying for your hour. They were paying for everything that culminated in who you are and the difference that you make. And as a result, it made a difference for them, and was obviously well worth whatever they paid you to be there. So if you can just get that mindset shift, because a lot of speakers struggle with this. How could I pay 10,000? How could I charge 10,000, 15,000, 20 for my hour? You're not. It is so worth them bringing you in if you can actually deliver on the promises.
And to the ticket piece, I mean, if you've got the cachet to actually be an attractor, then that's another part of that equation. People will come to hear you speak. I mean, you'll see some of these leadership summits where they've got 5 or 6 or 7. We've got this general and that general and this thought leader. They come to hear that person, and the messaging is whatever the messaging is. So there's those two distinctions that come into play.
Well, proof of process is certainly something. Like if people have heard that they went and saw you speak, and they walked away with some real transformation, that is certainly something. I think that often the title is the title of your talk, or even when you're pitching for a new engagement, the title is set to promote how fabulous you are, when really all people care about is what's going to happen if they give you that precious gift of their time, that unrenewable resource in their life. They just want to know, what do I get? What can I expect to walk away with? So even if you're a lesser known name, if the promise of the possibility is there, people will invest their time. I think a lot of speakers mistakenly believe if they build it, they will come. Like, you build this great talk and everybody's just going to show up, or maybe you are a bit of a celebrity. We've seen that with some new podcasts that are currently out, that big names, right, in the political arena, and they were a huge flop because people are not there to really listen to you. They're there to find something they can
Right.
latch onto and walk away with.
Yeah, well, we definitely want to have more conversations with you, Antoniette. My other favorite thing about new speakers is I always tell them, be wary of the 10%. And they said, what do you mean? I said, you realize that if you speak for free in front of a chamber or a school, and there's 100 people in the audience, usually on average, that 10% of them are going to love you no matter what you say. And they're going to come up to you afterwards and tell you, that was so amazing. You changed my life. You saved my life. And don't believe it. That's just a matter of frequency. Just realize that there was 10% that left, that because of your frequency, also you were like Tabasco in a wound. They hated you. The difference is you probably didn't have too much impact on the other 80 people in there if it was your first speech. And so don't let the frequency itself determine your success. It takes a lot of work, a lot of practice. I know Blaine and I both speak on over 100 stages a year, and we're still learning from each other and other speakers, different ways that we can make people feel how we would like them to feel. They won't remember what you say, but they'll remember what you feel. It's people like Antoniette Roze managing expectations and helping speakers globally around the world. If you want the best to help you, go to speakpact.com. Antoniette, promise us you'll come back, please.
I would be honored. I would love that.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao for now.
Ciao,
Take
ciao.
care. Bye-bye. Good to see you again.
She's amazing.
She is. She truly is. She really knows her stuff. She really, really does. There's no question about that.
A lot of pressure on David Hunter, though. We'll bring him in. He's the founder, CEO at local Falcon out of the East Coast. He has a local SEO business, and understanding the business rankings and how that drives revenue. Welcome to Office Hours, David Hunter.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me, guys. You're right; it's a tough act to follow. I've been given, I've given speeches a few times, but and I've never really had a trouble giving them until I get in front of my best friend is getting married. I'm the best man in the wedding. There's 400 people there, and I'm so confident that I'm going, I don't even need the notes. I've got this. Oh, I froze. It was so bad. So bad. Yeah, very awkward. It was like, it ended with just like a sloppy, like, what? I love you guys. That was the end of it. So
yeah, you can always
I
cry.
hear you there.
You can always cry. That works at a wedding. People,
That's
that's
right.
amazing. You just
They'll
cry.
remember it. They'll remember it.
So disappointed in yourself, but they think it's because you love the couple so much. More importantly, local SEO. We look at so many variants in marketing, digital marketing especially, and I think a lot of people don't realize in the aspect of social marketing, there is an exact science of SEO. And specifically, even more importantly, within local search engine optimization, comparatively to what I utilize a lot of the time in just social media, where there is no truth. And if anyone in digital marketing tells you they know what the heck they're doing, all I look for
Snake oil.
Yeah, they're snake oil salespeople. I'm just looking for someone engaged that will test things and learn quickly. That's how you make more money in the social media market. But you've been doing it almost 2 decades. There's a lot of science and certainty in SEO. And there's things that work and things that don't work. If there are people out there that want a greater online presence and want to know how important it is to rank higher, which is SEO's perfect drive tracker, rank higher and convert. How important is the ranking, which obviously SEO helps so much with?
So there's a couple ways to look at that. I mean, I could argue that the ranking is irrelevant if you're getting traffic to your site and it's the right type of traffic, right? But there, there's the other side of the school of thought where if you rank, the traffic will come, and to an extent, that is also true. At Local Falcon, I'm not trying to basically tell you that ranking is super important, but it is important to at least know where you stand. And when it comes to sort of traditional organic SEO versus local SEO, there's a lot of similarities, yes, but the devil is really in the details when it comes to the local stuff, right? Many of the rules that are there for organic just don't apply on the local side of things because it's really a different product, right? You have to think about how Google created this in the first place. You've got Google search, but then they also have Google Maps. And within Google Maps is where all of what the product known as Google Business Profile lives and is powered by. So everything is being driven from Google Maps. And when you do a search for, pizza near me, you're going to actually get those 3 map pins and the map right there at the top of the list. That's got nothing to do with organic Google search. So you kind of got to follow the rules that were set out from the beginning when it comes to how Google operates, at least. And that's following really their patent. If you look their patent up, is written on basically proximity, prominence, and relevance being the 3 most important driving factors as to what helps you show up. There's not too much that you can do if you're a pizza place, not too much you can do about proximity. And it's important because if I'm, in Los Angeles and I'm looking for a pizza place, I don't want results from, Washington State. That's irrelevant. So, proximity matters, prominence and relevance. Those are a little bit more sort of nebulous. It's like, well, what does that mean? You can kind of unpack that. And that's really the details that I'm talking about that you can kind of get into. And it's kind of amazing to see how just a few small changes will make a huge difference when it comes to your local presence. And make no mistake, being in that pack is critical because it's like 70% of the clicks, when it shows up, 70% of them are going there. And when you think about it, people are searching for stuff around them all the time. They may not add near me, but, lawyer, dentists, restaurants, it doesn't matter. You're typically looking for stuff around you. So it drives a huge amount of traffic.
So proximity, prominence, and relevance. Where does, this is a burgeoning question that I've run into with a couple of my clients in the startup space. Where does AI come in terms of its ability to augment SEO formulation? Just diagnostic, number one, but also then putting it together on the backside.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the AI stuff is kind of crazy. I mean, there's been AI in the background of Google search and Google Maps for 10 years now, right? But that's not really what we're talking about. It's really the front facing Google AI overviews, things like that. When you do a search today and you get what's called a Google AI overview, or if you go to GPT or Claude or any one of the large language models, those actually are really pulling sources from all over the place, distilling it down, and then essentially trying to just predict what the next word should be in the response. And so when we've done testing, it's actually a nightmare. Like we're seeing these results come back where, it'll say like, let's use the pizza example. It's going to list 3 pizza places that are nowhere near you, that have the wrong phone number listed. One of them closed 5 years ago. So it's kind of wild. Now, I do see that changing. I mean, Google has a huge advantage here. I actually believe that they win sort of the AI race that's going on because of all the data that they've got inside of what's called the knowledge graph, which is really where all of that Google Business Profile information lives. So if they can really couple the two together, I think you're going to have a really, really powerful product that is very difficult to compete with if you're ChatGPT or someone else. So the AI comes into play because of really all of the different mentions that are out there around you, right? So to go off of prominence, relevance, there's another acronym out there called EEAT, which is experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And so that is, in my mind, I mean, at least from what I've seen, one of the biggest driving factors as to how you actually show up inside of those AI results now. If you can demonstrate that you're trustworthy, and you've got a lot of trust signals, so to speak, coming into and going out of your web properties, you're going to be in much better shape of actually showing up. And so, to develop that, I mean, that really boils down to like ask and answer the FAQs, like find out if you're a business, what does everyone want to know when they're meeting with you, right? So get that out there, put it out onto the website in a very visible way. Get some testimonials from your customers and have them, real testimonials on Google, so that it's sort of a, it's a trusted platform as opposed to just like typing it into your website. That doesn't really count. So that's going to build up a lot of the, again, more trust signals, more authority. And then the other thing that we think about is really just documenting what you're doing, right? So if you're a plumber, go onto the job site, take photos, ask for the review, post that whole thing into your socials, onto your business profiles all over the place. Now you've got this like baked in authority because, you've just gone through and diagnosed and repaired a problem for someone in real life. That's actual trust and authority being built right there.
Great.
He knows his shit, David Hunter.
I've been doing it a long time, man. Local Falcon's been around a couple of years. And
I drive people to people like you that know their shit. If you want the real deal, you have a local business, local SEO can change your business rapidly. Is one of the fastest and easiest ways to drive business and to become more and more successful. Reach out to the expert, David Hunter, at Local Falcon. localfalcon.com. We'll have you back, David Hunter. We'll invite you. We'll be back in New York. Hopefully we'll see you there.
Not far from Erie, PA. So
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate the time.
Got it. Oh, I got a treat for
thanks,
you.
David.
I got a treat for you now.
Hey,
this guy is
wrote the forward.
More than cool. Russell Rogers, the double R with the double B, author, entrepreneur, an incredible motivational speaker, but he's super cool as well. And I am excited to be a part of his upcoming book. And I think it's going to be the John Lennon of all books. It allows us, aligned with Napoleon Hill and Blaine, the things that we talk about. Let's all welcome Russell Rogers. Welcome to Office Hours.
Oh man, it is so good to be here. This is a huge treat, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's so awesome. So you wrote this book that's coming out next month, about a month from today.
Yeah.
May 18th, I think. So it's almost exactly a month. It's called Imagine If. And I talk a lot about, I'll be happy when, or for the sake of what. But when you told me about this book, I started to think differently. And I started to see how I still limit myself. And I started making part of my daily practice of gratitude within the context of gratitude to find light, love, and lessons to tell myself, imagine if. And not imagine if bad things happen, but being the 2% that just imagine really good things that happen. And my life has changed dramatically by imagining if everybody did this, or if I could do this. And it takes just a few people with the great idea and intention in order to change the world. I think this book is going to change the world if we can get everyone to imagine if. What inspired you to write this book, Imagine If?
Wow. I got, while you were talking there, Dave, I got chills on my arms, man. I was like, oh, this is amazing. October 2023, I was on a bike ride. I was visiting my son in Huntington Beach, and it was 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I was taking a bike ride, and I was going down the path, and then they have these rubber mats that take you towards the ocean. So if you've got a heavy load, or you want to bike down, or you want to walk down and you don't have to walk on the sand, you can do that. So I rode my bike down. Again, it's 7 in the morning on a Saturday. It's foggy. Everything's gray. It's calming. I get down to the end of the path. I stood there for 5 to 10 minutes. I turn around to ride my bike back to the path. And as I go back that way, I pass a mother and 3 children, all under the age of 8. And I noticed that all of them had a little plastic bag in their hand. So I rode past them, and in my mind, I was thinking, I wonder what those bags are for. Are they for garbage? What are they for? Maybe a project. So about 50 feet beyond them, I stop, I look back, and I see that the mom is out there with her children on a Saturday morning at 7 in the morning picking up garbage. And I was like, wow, that is incredible. They could have been sleeping in. They could have been eating breakfast. They could have been watching cartoons. They could have been doing anything. But the mom had the children out there exemplifying what it is to do some community service. And the words came to me, imagine if. I went back to the hotel room after my bike ride. I wrote those words down, and little did I know that it was going to turn into, in about 17, 18 months, into Imagine If book. But it kept resonating in me over and over and over. Imagine if we did every day we did a community service. Imagine if we smiled at someone we didn't know. I mean, how often do we cross paths with somebody on a sidewalk who never engages with us in eye communication? They look the other way, they look down, they ignore, or whatever. But what if we said hello? What if we said every day thank you? What if we were every day, imagine this, if we were grateful, just like you said? So there's 100 statements in this book to get people to think about what imagine if we just imagine about our everyday lives. And there are 100 transforming opportunities for people to really do a heart check, and not only to change their lives, but potentially change the lives of people around them.
I love this. The word name actually means nature. I mean, the nature of something. So when you name something and you're asking in the name of something, you actually invite the quality of that particular thing to you, and those results will follow. I love just the what if, naming what as a possibility.
Yes.
So you've got 100 quotes here, or 100.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you actually parse those? Because you could have come up with probably 5, 6, 7, 800.
Easy.
So
Easy.
how did you actually parse these down in the spirit of the nature of the ask?
A great question. It really, I came with a bigger list, and I basically started going through, and I was like, really, what is applicable to people today? What applies to people today in their everyday life? Even to the point of what if every day, or imagine if every day we dress for success. Imagine if every day we laughed. I remember, what is his name? Coach Valvano, right? With North Carolina State. Think about him. He said there's 3 things in life that if we did these things every single day, that we would have a great day. And he said if we laughed every day, we cried every day, and we thought every day, that would make a great day. Well, guess what? Those 3 things are in there. These are things that are applicable to me that I think are great for everyday life.
Love
it's
it.
Amazing how consistency also falls within the context of imagine if. It's not just every once in a while. It's not imagine if going the extra mile every once in a while, but there is a consistency that exists within our imagination as well, not just doing the things, saying the things, believing and feeling and thinking are also requirements of imagination. To finish up, Russell, how important is the consistency of imagine if and the utilization of the book to remind, remember, and recollect each day to imagine if blank?
It's like anything. If you want to create consistency in your life, you've got to take the first step. And if you don't take the first step of change in your life, right? If it's eating less food, and if it's eating the right food, if it's exercising, if it's reading, if it's yoga, whatever it is, you have to take that first step in order to be consistent, or you're going to be consistent at doing nothing, right? And so it's taking that first step of these quotes and saying, if I imagine every day being more grateful in my life, then all of a sudden I'm thinking that. And the idea is that you don't speed read through this. You'll be done in 10 minutes. The idea is that you take these steps and you read them and you apply them for 100 days. And then all of a sudden you're looking back at this and you're trying to marinate in these words that are going to resonate inside of you. That's going to be a change agent for yourself to be a better person. So take that first step and get out there and do it.
0 to 1 is harder than 1 to 100. That consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential is created by Imagine If. If you want the guide, the book, a great way to remind, remember, and recollect our source, then go to Russell Rogers on May 18th. You can check out the amazing book, Imagine If. In the meantime, follow at Move Today 365, movetoday365.com. One of the necessities to live is movement, and we are blessed to move in the groove of Russell Rogers, a dear friend of mine. I appreciate you, my friend. I look forward
so much
to your book, and thank you so
Appreciate
much for allowing me to be a part of it.
Thank you for writing the forward. I appreciate it so much, and thanks for having me today.
You got it, my friend. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Great to meet you, Russell.
Russell Rogers.
Pleasure meeting you.
Hey,
See you soon, brother. I'm coming home. All
come
right.
home.
I get to be around the coolest people in the world. I always say cool people doing cool shit. That's what I do for my life. Get to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want, as long as they want to. That's where Blaine Bartlett came in, because he's back at home. Blaine Bartlett, my favorite part of the day is the takeaways.
Yeah.
What do we have today?
What if everything I did had impact? It always does, but what if I was conscious about having the impact I want to have? That's kind of where I'm going to go with this. I can do that through an SEO platform. I can do it more intently just in my living my life. You know, the whole notion of self-mastery. I'm working on my PhD right now, and self-mastery is a component of the dissertation that I'm putting together here. And the idea of mastering self, you know, you and I both talk about drift, you know, the Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. When I'm looking at impact, when I'm looking at self-mastery, when I look at making a difference, I have to be consistent. I have to be persistent. I have to be awake. And that's kind of the key to this whole thing. Just, you know, being abidingly awake. I don't care about being enlightened. Hell, anybody can be enlightened. At some point in time, we all will be. But I want to be abidingly awake while I'm here. And that has to do with impact.
That's beautiful. I will tell you, I learned a secret that I thought you knew. I'm getting an honorary doctorate. So I saved the part about studying again and writing a dissertation. I'm not expecting anyone ever to call me a doctor, but I would like to acknowledge the fact that I got honored with the people that work so hard like you to become a PhD and to write a dissertation. And what a great acknowledgement it is to someone to tell you that you, at least in your work, represent the same knowledge base. But I in no way would ever discount someone like you or others like Dr. J.B. Hill, that later on in life, he's a medical doctor later on in life, as well as what it takes to become one. But I do accept it graciously. My takeaway is consistency. You know, in speaking, like I became a very successful speaker because I was consistent. On social media, I built a huge community because I'm consistent. And I am most consistent with my imagination. I don't allow the interference. I become so consistent in my divine direction that the detours become divine and time becomes divine inherently within that as well. And so for me, I want to help people to be consistent every day with what they desire and what they imagine, speaking, social media, whatever it is, doctorates, any aspiration and inspiration that comes upon you with your calling. Remember, consistency is the key to the human consciousness and the conscious continuum. That's the way the cells work with the subconscious and the epigenetic layer of our code, our DNA, our genetic and energetic inheritance. So please, everyone, enjoy the consistent every day, persistent without quit pursuit of your potential. I'm blessed to be around these amazing people like the amazing double B, Blaine Bartlett, the double R, Russell Rogers. I'm just straight DM me, David at dmeltzer.com. Blaine Bartlett, I'll talk to you soon. I love you.
I love you too.
Great to hang out with you again.
I loved it. We got to keep doing it.
You got, I'm raising money for Unstoppable tonight. So wish me luck.
You go for it.
Right on.
Okay, buddy.
All right. We're helping other people. That's what we do. Please, we are in Denver right now. I'll be in Denver next week. I'll be in Chicago, Rhode Island. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Meetups, holding courts, speeches, VIP dinners, masterminds. We got it all, david@dmeltzer.com. Most importantly, imagine if you were kind to your future self. Imagine if you did good deeds. Imagine if you're more interested than interesting. I promise you one thing, you don't have to imagine. You will make more money, help more people, and have more fun. I guarantee it. Gigi, hit it.